What's up, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of the Nord and Block Podcast. It is Sunday, August 18th, 2024. This is episode number 16, I believe. I am your host here, Nordic, joined with my other host, LeBlock. How are we doing today, Mr. James?
Sweet 16 to the podcast. I'm doing pretty good. How about yourself?
I am tired. It's been a long time since I recorded a podcast. It feels like it's been a lifetime with all the NHL news that has happened.
Yeah.
Since our last talk. There has been a lot. So we'll start off with probably the biggest news of the week. The two offer sheets between the St. Louis Blues and the Edmonton Oilers. So it was a Tuesday morning. It was a nice, calm Tuesday. It started off with a trade between the Blues and the Penguins, where the Blues acquired their second-round pick from Pittsburgh in exchange for a second in 2026 and a third in 2025. And it was the most out-of-order, random trade, and we were like, why would St. Louis do this? Well, they proceeded to hit us with an absolute bomb 5 minutes later, signing Dylan Holloway and Philip Broberg to offer sheets. So, the deals were as follows. Holloway was a 2-year, $2.29 million deal, and Broberg was a 2-year, $4.58 million deal. A few conditions before we go on and explain. The Oilers have 7 days to match the offer sheet, which it was tendered on Tuesday of last week, so they will have 1 day when this podcast goes public. They are not allowed to trade Broberg or Holloway if they do match them, and as well as that too, if the two guys go to St. Louis, Edmonton will get a third and a second in 2025. So LeBlanc, what were your initial thoughts when this offer sheet dropped?
Funny story. So, I woke up, my phone buzzed, I woke up, and I saw the phone, and I saw it say, Pittsburgh and St. Louis trade. I'm like, whoa, what could this be? And I see it, I'm like, fuck, I'm going back to bed. I'm going back to scream to sleep in for another, 3 hours, wake up, but my phone's like, you see the hallway bar? Like, what are you talking about? And then she's like, oh, now that makes more sense.
Yes, now the trade makes a lot of sense because St. Louis needed their pick in order to do this.
I like it. I'm always saying GM's going to be bold, Blackberry bold, and this was Blackberry bold. I like it for St. Louis because it gives them 2 young pieces on shorter-term deals, not on long-term deals. On short, 2 to 3 year deals. I'm pretty sure
2-year contract.
Yeah. So it gives them leeway, and they still get RFA status. So I think for St. Louis, why wouldn't you do this?
This is just amazing by Armstrong. It's a terrific move. It really puts the Oilers in a pickle, more or less, because they were already kind of against the salary cap. They, in fact, I think were over the salary cap when these deals occurred. So now it puts them in a really interesting spot. If you had to choose between the two, who would you match?
Holloway.
It's absolutely Holloway. Broberg, the guy gets paid $4.58 by St. Louis, which is an overpay. Mm-hmm. But that's kind of how offer sheets work. I mean, if you don't overpay, they're most likely going to match in a lot of instances. So I guess that's kind of where I stand with it.
But for Edmonton, sorry. They were trying to get rid of Broberg for the longest time, for the past 2 seasons, and suddenly he has a good playoff, and then he gets offer sheeted. So for Edmonton, you're like, maybe you should have extended Broberg or traded him sooner.
This kind of got a lot of people to put pressure and blame Jeff Jackson because he went out and signed all these other players to contracts and left Broberg and Holloway out there to dry for St. Louis here in August. I don't know if I would necessarily put the blame on Jeff Jackson specifically. I think that, to be honest, you see a lot of RFAs. They don't sign right away. They take longer to obviously work out contracts. Even guys like this, even guys like Broberg and Holloway, who are 2 players that shouldn't get paid a ton. They're no Seth Jarvis, they're no Lucas Raymond, but they still will take a while to kind of work out with their contracts because certain teams and agents have different viewpoints on how much their players should be paid. I do believe, I might be wrong, I think one of them, if not both, were scheduled for arbitration too. Am I wrong? I think Holloway.
I'll be honest, I have no idea. I think
Okay,
Holloway maybe.
Yeah, I believe Holloway was. So I guess that just completely shuts this down. But honestly, I think that it's a great move by the Blues. They're a team that's honestly in a spot where they don't have a ton of young talent. They have young talent, but they don't have enough to, kind of justify them going to the Stanley Cup playoffs this year. A lot of people have had them kind of I'm not saying that this is like a game-changing signing, but it definitely does put them in the right direction, getting some solid young forward and young defensemen, even though I would say both are an overpay. And again, as LeBlanc said with Broberg, the guy, honestly, Oilers are trying to get rid of them, so I guess the Blues kind of did them a favor?
Kind of, and then they get a second-round pick for him if they.
Yeah, I would take that. I would
take that. But the thing about Holloway is now with today, this happened like literally an hour and a half ago. Podkolzin acquired by the Oilers for a 4th-round pick via the Ottawa Senators.
In 2025.
Does that now? I think me and Evan were like, we were
talking off podcast about it. Yeah. We said this is such a head-scratching move.
Mm-hmm.
Because, as I said, like, the Oilers were already up against the cap as it is. And listen, Podkolzin's not making, like, $5 million. But you go out and get someone who, like, it makes zero sense to me. And Podkolzin's he's not, like, a great player either. He spent a lot of his time in the American Hockey League. He's been a defensive liability from what I've seen from a lot of Canucks fans. And, honestly, he hasn't been the guy that was projected of him when he was selected top 10 in 2019. It just seems like such a weird move by Stan Bowman. And it just kind of like proves our point that was such a dumb hire. But it just doesn't make sense to me. What do you think?
I don't think it makes. I see him like, it's Holloway's replacement. If that's your replacement for Dylan Holloway,
yes, that's sad.
I've got some gut wrenching news. Podkolzin, I think maybe there's still something there, but Podkolzin's not going to be. His ceiling is the roof's come down quite a bit.
Exactly. So this past year, sorry to interrupt you. This past year, let me read off his stat line. He had 19 games played, 2 assists in the NHL. Then he spent 44 games in the AHL, had 15 goals for 28 points this past year.
Yeah, I don't know what you're gonna. I think might just be AHL depth because I don't see him in a 4th-line role with Edmonton.
You have to send him down though. You have to send him down.
I see people put him with McDavid. I'm like, you can put anyone with McDavid and they'll succeed. Putting Podkolzin with McDavid, I don't think really is gonna work because as much as you say, put him with McDavid will help. You need to be a good player to play on the top line. Regardless of who you are. You can't just be a pigeon. You can't just be a pigeon and sit there and wait for goals.
And maybe Podkolzin will change for the better.
Maybe
Podkolzin will become the guy that he was projected to be, but I doubt it.
Yeah, because you see guys who have change of sceneries, and they blossom. Maybe this is that, or maybe it's just a guy who you never know. This could be just his layover stop until he goes back to Russia.
Yeah, I agree with that. It feels like the Oilers are trying to get younger as well.
Yes.
It feels like a lot of the ads they've made, they're trying to get younger, but this is just so weird to me. It kind of shows that they're probably not going to match either of these guys. They're just going to take the compensation with the draft picks, which isn't particularly a terrible thing, but it's still it's such a weird move, weird replacement for Holloway. And, it's safe to say that Armstrong really screwed over the Oilers in this sense. So any more thoughts on the Podkolzin, Broberg, Holloway situation?
If you lose Broberg and Holloway, though, are you actually getting younger?
Nope.
Yeah. So I believe they'll try. There's got to be a move coming. There's got to be a move coming with the Oilers.
There's got to be. I feel like we could see that tomorrow.
I don't see them not matching Holloway.
Yeah, there's no way. Holloway, Broberg's gone. I don't think Broberg's coming back. You're not paying like what? Broberg was on the third pairing this past playoffs. You're not paying a third pairing guy $5 million.
Second in the later rounds, yeah. So
well, yeah, but he's mostly going to be a third pairing guy. You're not paying a third pairing. You're not paying a guy like that $5 million, and also a guy who has little NHL experience. Like he has playoff games. He has a couple games in the regular season under his belt, but not a ton to warrant a $4.5 million deal. Holloway definitely should be signed to that con. Definitely should be matched.
Holloway has potential. Holloway's, I think, hey, for Holloway, if he doesn't get matched, honestly, it might be the best thing for his career. Bigger role.
He'll probably get more ice time with the Blues than he would the Oilers.
Yeah.
To be truthful, it's hard to crack in there, which is what I've been wondering about Savoy as well. That's something that I've been honestly thinking about a lot too. All right, any more thoughts on that?
No, I got nothing.
We will definitely have more on it in probably our next episode next Sunday. Maybe we'll make one during the week if something really big happens, but I doubt it. The other big news of the week involves the Toronto Maple Leafs, where they have named Austin Matthews. Austin Matthews, the new Toronto Maple Leafs captain, per Darren Dreger. Current or past Leafs captain John Tavares fully supports the change, and Tavares has been heavily involved with the process with GM Brad Treliving. Also, per Chris Johnson, this report and these discussions have happened since their playoff loss to Boston. I like it. I think it's actually a decent move. I don't know if it's going to solve as many problems as people think it will, but I think that it's a good move. Obviously, you give it to your captain with term. It's got to cause some turmoil. It's got to cause some weirdness in the locker room, even if Tavares does support it. I feel like I don't know how you feel about that.
We've been begging, please do something about the core. Please, you know what? You're absolutely right.
This is the closest they've come.
Captaincy replace. I get it. Maybe you need a new voice in there. Maybe you need Matthews. Matthews probably might be a bigger voice in the locker room than Tavares is right now. Maybe that's why you do it. You can't if you came up to me and said, "Hey, LeBlanc, we're stripping you of the captain and we're giving it to North 97." You think maybe we don't.
I don't think he was stripped though. He wasn't stripped though.
But,
he supported it. He passed the torch. Is what they were saying in the media.
You could say it however you want. People say, "Oh, I have no problem with it," but sometimes people might have a problem with it. You have to say everything for PR's sake.
Well, yeah, I guess that is true. Yeah.
For me, it also questions: would Tavares give up the captaincy if he was going to stay?
That's also a good question. Now, there have been reports that they are trying to work on a brand new extension, which I hope would be for way cheaper than what he's actually getting paid, to be honest with you. So, we'll see what happens there. I think Tavares, if he's going to stay, definitely needs to take a massive pay cut, because I don't think that, first off, he's not worth $10 million anymore. At the beginning of the contract, he definitely was, or he was better than he is now. But at this rate, he is not worth that money. I would imagine he probably gets somewhere around $4, maybe $5 million, $3 million,
$5 million. He's definitely a $5-6 million player. So
I think it definitely gives them more cap flexibility, but it doesn't solve all their problems either. Because I feel like you're gonna have to sign other guys to contracts. You're gonna have to sign Marner to a deal too, because they want to keep him around probably. So you're pretty much stuck with this core four until they can't play anymore.
Yeah.
I don't know what else to say. And we were talking about it earlier. Their bottom six is not that intriguing. What was their biggest issue in the playoffs?
I think we had this conversation today: depth scoring.
Exactly, and they lost one of the guys that had helped them in depth scoring, Bertuzzi. So I don't see how you can really. I don't know. Their biggest issue was depth scoring. And they didn't do a lot to help out with that. Pontus Holmberg is your third line center. Are you for real right now?
That's rough. That's a tough scene.
Yeah. So again, it's a interesting move. I think it's probably a good move, but there's a lot of other things that are concerned with the Maple Leafs when you look in terms of that.
Think of all the money they're gonna make off the Matthews C.
Exactly.
Oh,
exactly.
That'll be $75. Take my money. It's just business.
Oh, of course. All right, we do have another trade to talk about. I should have talked about this after the offer sheets, but the Pittsburgh Penguins today acquired Cody Glass, a third-round pick, a sixth-round pick, in exchange for Jordan Frasca, who is a minor league player. Never heard of the guy. But Cody Glass, again, it was a high draft pick. I think he was the first ever pick in Vegas Golden Knights history.
Yes.
If I'm correct, it might have been Suzuki, but I think it was Glass. Um, Honestly, I think I've always liked Glass. I felt like a lot of the time he got the short end of the stick. He's always worked hard, but just never could produce at the NHL level. We'll see if he can do that in Pittsburgh, but I don't know. I wouldn't hold my breath.
Yeah, Glass always got the short end of the stick. This is a purely a cap dump by Nashville. I don't know
It is.
what's going
It absolutely is.
I don't know if it's they need extra money or what's going on there, but I've always liked Glass. I remember when Glass got picked. I remember when the outrage when Vancouver passed on Glass.
I remember that too.
Pedersen. I always remember that as that was one of the drafts where it's like I didn't hear the end of it, but it
worked out.
I hope Glass. I just want to see him become a regular. Like he was a regular past years in Nashville. I really do like what Glass brings to the table. I really think he's going to be a good bottom six guy for an NHL team.
Yeah, I actually like that move for the Penguins. They didn't particularly do a lot that really made me have more faith in them this year than I did last year, but I like that move. Mm-hmm. I think he's a good bottom six guy. In other news, nothing too big here. The Lightning are selling their team to, doesn't even say it, Doug Ostrover, working on a $2 billion sale, so that's an interesting move there. It would be the largest sale in NHL history, surpassing Michael Andlauer's $950 million purchase of the Ottawa Senators. So just kind of a cool business-like deal there. Nothing too big in the hockey world or anything like that, but I don't know a lot about Doug Ostrover. He is the CEO of Blue Owl Capital, whatever the hell that is. But regardless, I guess that's cool. Sam Rosen is going to retire as the Rangers play-by-play announcer after the 2024-2025 season. His 40th with the team. I mean, even if you're like a Rangers hater, you gotta love Sam Rosen.
Sam Rosen's such an iconic voice. Like he's such an iconic voice. Like
as someone who wants to get into that field of broadcasting, Sam Rosen was one of the guys that I definitely looked up to.
Like growing up, we had the NHL package, so I always remember turning on the Rangers games, hearing Sam Rosen's voice. It's just it's so different to every other like commentator.
Yeah, it's gonna be weird not hearing his voice. Ryan Getzlaf joined the NHL Department of Player Safety. Cool.
No,
can they get any more of a joke than it is?
Ever again.
What?
No
What'd you say?
Ever getting suspended ever again. George Peros, Ryan Getzlaf. I think Chris Pronger's still working about in there.
Jesus. Yeah, for sure. And then one more piece of news here before we move into our topics for today's episode. Don Waddell spoke on Patrik Laine this past week, saying, quote, he's been very vocal that he does not want to play on the Columbus Blue Jackets. There were things that went on in the locker room that he just doesn't want to have to deal with. Again, not 100% sure we'll see a trade with Laine, but I want to know what you think. I don't think we will.
I understand what Laine is saying, but you better be ready to go back in that locker room come training camp, because I don't think he's getting traded. I don't think
he is either. He's gonna have to play his way out of Columbus. Mm-hmm. He's gonna have to prove himself, unless if Columbus the only way that he will get traded is if Columbus puts an asset in for someone else.
Yeah.
To actually get Laine. I don't see that happening, unfortunately. So yeah, Laine is probably staying a Blue Jacket. We could be wrong. We could see a trade at some point. But obviously, as of right now, that's where I stand. All right. Do you want to get into the tier list?
Let's do it.
Okay, let's go. So today, the Northern Block Pod is doing our first tier list. I've been doing that so many times in this episode. Tier list for the 2024-2025 season. This is going to be our state of every NHL team, I guess you could call it. We have 6 columns here, that being cup contenders, playoff locks, playoffs likely, in the hunt, not bad, but playoffs unlikely, and then James Hagan's season. So we will be doing these probably once a month. I haven't really talked with LeBlanc about that, but I think it'd be cool to
No,
do it.
no, no, no. We just want once a month. After sounds like a good idea, actually.
Yeah. So we'll do these once a month, starting out with our August 2024. This is a joint one. If you saw the ones we posted individually, forget about them. But regardless, I am going to get us started here with
It's actually on me. I go
oh,
first.
I apologize. You go first.
Um, the Avalanche. I think they're a firm playoff lock.
Yes, I think they
I,
are a
I,
playoff lock.
I think they're a fringe cup contender. Like I think they definitely could go for a cup. I'm still missing like the goaltending still was not addressed. I'm still concerned about that.
Yeah, that is. I think Georgiev is on his last year of his contract. He's facing a massive make or break season.
Mhm.
I think that definitely is going to be something that's talked about a lot. They also are getting Landeskog back, reportedly. I
Yes,
don't know if that's going to help as much as people think it's gonna. I'm not saying Landeskog will be bad, but you look at Sean Couturier at the Flyers, who came in, missed like 2 seasons, and didn't really, like he came back and wasn't the same.
he's
Landeskog
I.
could be a same instance of that, but I think Landeskog is definitely better than Couturier was. So
Yeah, I think he'll still come back. He'll still he may not put up the amount of pace he was before, but he'll still be good for them. I feel.
definitely the team with their captain will definitely shift momentum.
Mhm.
100%. It'll make the team probably more better around the locker room, to be honest. Chicago Blackhawks up next for me. I think this is very easy. James Hagen season.
They improved, but I'm still that division is still very tough. I don't see them getting through that Central.
Yeah,
Even getting up to 7 is going to be like a big challenge for them. I
it's a
feel like
big
this year
one.
you want to see Bedard take that next step. You want to see the team as a whole take a jump forward. The young guys come up and prove something as well.
You want to see Artem Levshinov definitely have some playing time at the NHL level. I think he's probably going to be at that range. I think it's going to be exciting to see, to be honest with you. But Chicago, without a doubt, don't even have to really go into it, is in James Hagen's season. By the way, I should have mentioned this. If you don't know who James Hagens is, it is the top prospect for the 2025 draft.
Yeah.
All right.
The Jackets, I hate to say it, but James Hagen season. Like I don't see how this team is going to contend in this Eastern Conference.
Will they be better or worse than
I
Chicago?
think they're better than Chicago right now.
Yeah,
So
I would say that too. Yeah,
yeah,
I think Columbus has got the young forwards to really build something good there. They need a lot of their players need to have big seasons. Like I think a guy that definitely needs to be talked about more is Ken Johnson. Ken
yeah,
Johnson
I
needs
was just going to
to
mention he needs to step up.
yes, Cole Sillinger as well. Unless if they do have another really bad year, it's not a good sign whatsoever for their futures. But I think they
Here's
will bounce back.
here's my thing. You have new coaching in there. You have a whole new regime basically in
Yeah.
Columbus. Now, if players are bad, they have no what's the word I'm looking for here? They have no like ties to them. They'll cut them off.
Yes, exactly.
Like but I expect Fantilli to have a very, very good year next year. That's one thing I want to put out there. I think Fantilli's gonna have a big jump next year.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing what Fantilli is going to be able to do with the Jackets. All right, I'm up next. St. Louis Blues. I don't know. I don't think St. Louis is as good as some may view them. I'm gonna put them in unlikely for playoffs. What do you think?
Okay. I,
I'm
I
not.
think that I think that's fair, but I want to ask you this though. If they get Hallway and Broberg, does that change your answer?
No.
Okay,
It,
then we'll keep them there.
it's like listen, like Broberg and Holloway are good ads, as we said earlier in this episode, but they're not game changers. Like they're not going to suddenly make this St. Louis Blues team a playoff team miraculously. That just doesn't happen. Simply, it doesn't happen.
I
Um,
think I think they could be in the hunt. Bennington, if he has another year like last year, they'll definitely be in the hunt. But I I,
Probably.
I, I tend to agree with the unlikely playoffs. But like they're like the highest of high on that though. I feel.
Yeah, you got to put it into perspective, like how many teams are going to be in the hunt this year. Like we're barely into this list. There's going to be a lot of teams, so that
Yeah.
makes things interesting. The Boston Bruins.
I think the Bruins. Now, if you agree with this, I think the Bruins are pretty playoff lock. Like,
Yes.
yeah, I think they're below the Avalanche though.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think they're
So
definitely a lock. I like the ads they brought in. You could say they're overpays, but they're still good ads to bring in. They get deeper down the middle. Their defense gets better. I think they made good ads. Apart from, I guess they got worse in goal. I don't think
but
it's a massive deal.
Swayman's still a top 10 goalie, so you're fine. Like,
As long as they sign him, that's the other big thing.
yes. But yeah, I like the like you say, oh, the overpays. Yeah, in the short term though, they're really good moves in the short.
Yeah. I don't know, but I think they're definitely a playoff lock.
Yeah, for sure.
Montreal. This is me, right? All right. Montreal, I think, is playoffs unlikely.
Yeah, I'm going to
I
agree with
don't
you there.
believe they're Jane. I don't believe they're going to be bad, but I don't think that they're going to be. They're not coming close to the
I
playoffs.
think they'll be a top 10 pick, but they'll be competitive, but they'll still be not great.
Yeah, they'll be definitely be better than they were this past year. I think they will be better than fifth, but they won't be. They won't be anything more than that.
I feel if Suzuki could take a next step, they'll be higher on this list. Will come.
And Caulfield for sure.
Yeah,
I think that you have a lot of exciting players on that roster, but just not yet. Hopefully, Slav
yeah.
has a good year too.
I think Slav's gonna break out this year. He already broke out, but I think he's gonna have. I think he could be in for like an 80-point year. Honestly,
Honestly, yeah, I agree with that. Vancouver.
Vancouver. I think Vancouver's a playoff lock, but they're a fringe playoff lock for me. So I'm gonna put them at under Boston.
Yeah, I could definitely see that. I think Vancouver, they had a really good year last year. They made it to the second round, game seven with all the injuries they had. I think that yeah, I think the team is great. I think I don't really have too many questions with the Canucks right now, at least.
Yeah, I think that they may have lost a few guys, but they kind of picked up the pieces that they could to build a roster again. Goaltending is great. Defensively, you brought back Kronik. You did good. Bringing in DeBrusk, Heinen, those are good ads there. I still think that the thing is they're there because the Pacific Division is just bad. Like I don't know
Yeah,
how to put that any nicer. It's not a good division, so in that division, they're a lock.
it's been the weakest division for years, to be
Yeah.
honest. All right, the Washington Capitals. This is mine, I believe. Yes. All right. Washington, me and LeBlanc are on polar opposite ends. I am actually kind of high on the Capitals. LeBlanc is not really, but I'm going to put them in the hunt.
Yeah. Yeah. I have them in the hunt as well. So
I think that I like the pieces they made, and I'm saying this we're in Capitals here, but I think I like the pieces they made a lot. I think that like they made a lot of moves to be more competitive, make themselves more likely of a playoff team than they were last year. I just don't know if all of those guys are going to glue together and play well. Like Dubois is the biggest question that I have with this Capitals team. I think they got a lot of these guys to help Ovechkin, to be honest with you. That's kind of
yeah.
how I see it.
I look at Washington, and for me, like I look at their defense, and I still get concerned because, like I've said off podcast, they're all offensive guys outside of like Matt Roy, maybe Faravari. No, yeah, Faravari. No, he plays for New Jersey, does he?
No, fair. You're thinking of Siegenthaler. Yeah, Fehevari
Yeah,
played.
no, yeah, no, yeah. I'm thinking of Siegenthaler.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm concerned there because you have like four offensive defensemen playing probably in the top within that top four. So that concerns me. The forwards is a big question mark still, and goaltending looks good though. I'll give them the goaltending. Goaltending looks really good.
Yeah, I like
They're
that pairing. I think that pairing is actually one of the better tandems in the league.
Yeah, there definitely will be in the hunt. I just don't think they'll be playoffs. That's just me though.
Yeah, I'm kind of that opinion too. New Jersey, you got a relatively easy one here.
I think New Jersey is playoffs likely. I'm not gonna put them as a lock because
They
I don't
just
know.
last year.
Last year they were a lock and they were the most disappointing team in the league with all the injuries. But I think if they can stay healthy, they're likely going to be in the playoffs.
I think even solving their issue of Jacob Markstrom, this team could honestly just like they definitely make the playoffs.
Mhm.
Markstrom's a massive improvement from who was their goalie? Schmid?
Yeah, it was Kira Schmid and
Dawes?
he got traded to San Jose. Oh, VTech.
Yeah, VTech. So it's definitely an improvement. I don't know. I wouldn't particularly say Markstrom is a terrific goalie. He's not one of the better Well, he is one of the better goalies in the league, but he's not like the
He's not
best.
top 10.
Yeah, he's not the top 10, but he's still a solid goalie. He's
He's
definitely
still
better.
solid. He's like out in that. He's like at 12, 11
Yeah.
range.
And you forget their ads of Brad Pesce and Anton Siliev. Siliev's not going to play, but Pesce will. So I think that's a good add on the blue line. Anaheim. I think the Anaheim Ducks are kind of in the same realm as Montreal. Not bad, but playoffs are unlikely.
Yeah, I'll agree with you there. Cause like I know, cause
I
when I
think you could
posted,
put him in Hagen's season,
yeah, cause
but
when I posted my list, I had a couple Ducks fans give me solid arguments why they should be in the tier above. So we're gonna put them in the tier above.
I think that like they have a good young team. Like they're gonna score. They're gonna be fun to watch this year, but they aren't gonna make the playoffs. They're kind of like
No,
Montreal. Like they're gonna be competitive. They're not gonna make the playoffs. They are literally like the Western Conference Montreal Canadiens, honestly, with the amount of young guys they
yeah, that's a fair assumption. That's a fair assumption.
yeah, that's kind of how I view them. Calgary Flames.
Oh, buddy, it's James Hagen season over there in
Oh, yes.
in Cowtown. Put him above Columbus though.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
what I was thinking.
Um, they start that you. It's obvious they've started the tear down. Now is like the remainder of the guys who will be torn down. Come trade deadline, this team's going to be very bad.
I think Kuzmenko gets flipped. I think they're going to try and move Uyghur. They tried to move
Man,
Uyghur
yeah.
previously.
Memphis probably getting flipped as well. Coleman's a guy who could be flipped.
Not saying that it's a bad thing. I think that honestly, this team does have a lot of young future players that make them.
Ari, Coronado, Wolf. Like I really like their young core coming up.
I like how they're tearing. I like how they're tearing a lot of the guys from the old regime away and
Mhm.
kind of trying to build this new array. If they get Hagens next year, I think this future is incredibly bright for Calgary. I
For
think it
sure.
already is as it is, but I think you get Hagens, it makes it even better.
Mm.
Vegas.
Oof. This one's tough for me because
They lost so much. Like
mhm.
so much. And what they got back was not good enough to cover the hole. I'm between the two middle columns right now.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Because they didn't just lose the big piece; they lost depth as well. Like, look at they lost Amadio, they lost Carrier, they even lost the big guy in Marcia. So,
Yeah,
like,
I definitely think they got weaker. What do you think? Let me look at their lineup real quick before
I,
I
I for me, they're in the hunt, but they're like fringely on bad, but playoffs unlikely.
hang on a second. Let me go look at their lineup real quick before I make my decision. Because honestly, this team is just so
This team is old. Like I don't know how
oh
to.
my God. Their blue line's all right.
The blue line's all right, but it's old.
Goaltending's
Yeah, that's
I'm putting
why
them in the hunt. I'm putting them in the hunt.
I think they're very low on in the hunt. But
Yes. I
like,
don't I don't like their odds, but I've learned over the years to never count out Vegas. So I'm gonna say that
yes,
as well.
they're kind of like Boston. You never count out Boston until they're
They
dead.
they will probably make some shocking move at Christmas. Like somebody's gonna become available and they're gonna trade for him somehow. It's just what they
Oh
do.
no, Mitch Marner's on the Vegas Golden Knights.
Dude, I made a video on that. That probably is gonna happen. That might actually happen. I don't know. I don't think that solves their problems. But like you got Pavel Dorfiev on your third line or on your
Yeah,
second line, not your third line.
I
Unless
like Dorfia, but he's not
yeah,
a second liner.
unless Brendan Bryson becomes
And
this amazing guy,
yeah,
and
Bryson.
and unless Holtz and Olofsson have great years on their new teams, it's not a great
I,
option.
I I don't know. Like it's tough because come November we'll know more. But
Dude,
I
what
don't.
if this team's injured? Like what if Mark Stone gets hurt again? What if Eichel doesn't perform to the level that he did in
What if
previous?
Eichel gets hurt again? Like this team is so injury prone. It's not even funny.
Yeah, and Hurdle too. Like if even one of those guys gets hurt, they're screwed. They're
Yeah.
screwed. There's no other way to say it. Their blue line again is good, but it's yeah, I don't know. They're in a really weird spot right now. Carolina, I think you're up.
Yes, I think Carolina's playoffs likely.
Yeah,
I
people won't like that, but I think they probably will make playoffs. Not a lock though.
Yeah, I they're not a lock. I think they're on the same tier as New Jersey, where it's like because Carolina, like Vegas, lost so much, but Carolina actually got like they recovered their losses.
Carolina got a lot back, but they've also made some good drafting decisions that's kind of made them better for the long term as well. Like I think
Yes.
a lot of the ads they brought Carey on a 6 year deal. They brought in Walker and Gostisbehere on I think it was like 3 year contracts. They still have one of the better decors in the NHL, but
Hmm.
they 100% got worse. And they still got to sign Jarvis as well at this state in the
Yeah, I totally forgot about that actually.
yeah, that's
Holy.
something else that's got to happen. So
Mhm.
I don't know. I think Carolina's definitely in an interesting spot, but they still should make playoffs. Should.
Yes.
It's only because like after them that division is just like a disarray. Like after the top three, it's just such a like a free for all. Honestly the top one. Like you could make an argument the Devils miss next year. I don't know. All right, New York Islanders. I'm up next. I'm gonna put them in the hunt. I don't know if they're above Washington or
I
not.
put the, I think they're above Washington, but we can put them below Washington if you like. Also,
I think they're on the same level.
yeah,
I think I wouldn't say they're completely identical teams, but they were similar how they made the playoffs last year. They got hot at the right time, and that's how they got in. It's kind
yeah,
of
pretty much
and as you said this to me off camera today. You think that if Sorokin has a bounce back year, they definitely will be.
in the playoffs. Yeah,
Yes, I agree with that. But I also do think they didn't improve a ton. Duclair is a good ad, but they also didn't improve as much as the Capitals did, I would say. I don't know. I don't know.
yeah, but they didn't lose anybody. The Islanders.
Yes, that's true. The Islanders and with a full year of Patrick Waugh, we'll see what they can do. What people forget is that they blew a lot of leads in the season this past year. They resulted in a lot of overtime losses, which is part of the reason why they got in.
Right,
All those extra
that's why they
points.
got to the playoffs.
I don't want to be like one of those people who says, "Oh, it's the main reason," but it was definitely part of it.
It
Like
was a partial reason why they made the
they had
playoffs.
like 15 of them. Like 15 of their like 90 points was that. So you got
So did Boston, but
yeah, Boston did too as well, but I guess that's true. All right, Winnipeg Jets, I think you're up.
um, I'll be honest, they lost Brendan Dillon, but you have Connor Hellebuyck in net. You're a lock. You're a
I
lock.
think they're definitely a lock for the playoffs.
I I think they're above Vancouver. Yeah,
I think that I didn't even mean to do that. I
yeah.
think that people underestimate them unless if they trade Ehlers, which I don't think is going to happen. I feel like it would have happened already.
Mhm.
I think that they're going to, and they have a relatively decent young core.
They
Like they got
do.
guys coming up in the pool. I don't think they will be fourth best in the league this year, like they were last year, but they will still be a playoff lock for sure.
Mhm.
All right, LA Kings, it's my turn. I am not that high on the Kings whatsoever. I am putting them in the hunt, but I'm putting them above Vegas.
Okay, yeah, that I like that. That's where I would put them. I'm not high on the Kings. Goaltending. What's up with that? That's all I really think.
I think Kemper. I like Kemper. We'll see how Kemper can do.
I think he's played in LA before. He knows what it takes to be an LA King. I think he'll be decent. Um, bringing in Edmondson, I don't like that move. Bringing in, as my
No,
brother calls him, Warren Fagelli or Warren Fogel.
there's an episode on the podcast named Fogelli because of Warren
Fagelli.
Fogle.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm actually looking at their forward core. It's not that terrible.
Like I think they'll be in the hunt. Like they'll be in the hunt for
Their
sure.
top six is great.
Yeah,
Like honestly, if Alex Turcotte takes a step this year and actually pans out, could be in a decent spot. But
yeah.
again, I think they're still in the hunt. I don't like that defense unless if Brant
Gabrikov
Clark,
bounces back, then
unless if Brant Clark and Jordan Spence. perform really well, I don't think.
I'm really high on Brant Clark, but I'm still not high on the Kings.
Yes. We'll see what happens this year. They probably will be. They probably will make the playoffs, but
But they're going to be in the hunt. It's not. It's going to be close to near the end, I think.
yes, I think so as well. Seattle, you are very high on Seattle. I want to hear
I
your.
think. I think Seattle's in the hunt.
Okay. All right. Where do you have them at? Above
I
LA?
want to put them in the middle,
In the middle here? Oh, wait.
like,
Right here?
like right there. Yeah, above the Kings, but below the Islanders.
Okay.
I want to remind you how ass this division is.
This
Like,
division is terrible. Outside of Edmonton and Vancouver, it's kind of a free-for-all.
yeah, that three spots up for grabs. Like,
I mean, why do you think McDavid puts up 150 points every single year?
you have to
Because
play because you get to play San Jose, Anaheim, and San Jose, Anaheim, and
Calgary.
Calgary 4 times a year. Like,
Exactly. So you just get to like pile up your points. But I do think Seattle did get better. I think the second half of the year was pretty good by them. They just fell behind so much in the first half that they couldn't really build up.
yeah, adding Montour's huge. Stevenson for the short term's really good.
I like Dackert. If Dackert can be what he was in the second half of last year, you're looking at maybe a playoff team.
Yeah,
Could
Decor,
be it
Decor,
could be fun to watch this Pacific battle out, to be honest.
Decor's such an underrated goaltender. Like if he can play like he did last year, they're probably going to be a playoff team. But
Probably.
I'm not I'm not banging the putting the house on that though. So they're in the hunt.
I'm not holding my breath on that either.
Yeah,
Tampa. I don't know LeBlanc. I'm between
it's
the two
you.
middle columns. I'm gonna put playoffs likely. I
Yeah,
think
I think they're
they
playoff.
still have all their guys besides like Stamkos. They got Gensel, which isn't like a huge this it doesn't fully replace, but it does help. I think that honestly they are very weak in the bottom six, but they still have Vasilevsky. That's one thing that I do like about them. Yeah, I think that honestly Tampa is in an all right spot.
Yeah, I totally agree with you on there. I still think they have other guys. Their bottom six literally is just unproven guys and old grizzled vets.
Yes. Yes, it is.
Their decor is like there's that meme. Have you seen that meme? It's like Patrick. He's coming back to his rock, and there's people under his house. Like, who are you people?
Yep.
Yeah,
It's pretty much it, to be honest.
yeah.
That bottom six is like it's a bunch of nobodies. And speaking
I'm
of
not.
a bottom six being a bunch of nobodies, we got Toronto here.
Toronto. Now, I was told how come they're not a playoff lock because they lost so much. So playoffs likely for them.
Yeah, I think they improved defensively, but as me and
I put
LeBlanc
them above
said,
Tampa though.
yeah, or above Tampa, yeah.
I put them above
As
Tampa. Yeah,
LeBlanc said earlier in this episode, or as I said earlier in this episode, what is the biggest issue the Leafs had in the playoffs?
dead scoring.
Yes, exactly. And that bottom six is not very intriguing. I would say your best player in your bottom six, at least what it's measured right now, Max Domi. He's good, but it's not. Cal Yarncrook also, as well, as on that bottom six too. Pontus Holmberg, like it's such a it's a rough bottom six down there. And that was something that really struggled with the Leafs. Yes, they improved defensively. I like their tandem. However, if Wool's healthy, that's when I like their tandem. Because if Wool gets hurt, they're screwed. They're actually screwed.
You have Stolar, who's a good backup, but then who
Stolar's isn't a starter.
do you want Matt Murray being your backup goaltender?
Exactly. That's your third string. I'm not too keen.
I'm not rocking with that. I'm not going.
I'm not too keen with doing that. So Toronto in playoffs likely. I got Oilers. Actually, Oilers and Panthers are next to each other. Who planned that? I have Oilers cup contenders. Come on.
Yeah, no argument there. They got to the finals and then they got better.
Yeah. Do you want me to save your energy with Florida?
Yeah, they're still cup contenders. They've lost quite a bit, but they're still cup
Yeah,
contenders.
they're still a cup team. Like I think like even like they lost a good amount, but they still have a good team. Like their top six is terrific. They have great goaltending. Their defense is still solid. It wouldn't surprise me if by the time we do this or by the time next year's final rolls around, it's these same two teams again. And I'm not complaining at all. That was a
Yeah,
great
no, that was one of the best finals we've ever seen.
I've
So,
ever seen. 100%.
so I wish it wasn't like 3-0 then 3. That's
Yeah, that was the big thing. Again, going back to Edmonton, we didn't really go too much in depth with them. I mean, I like their forward course terrific. Even losing Holloway, I think does that make room for Savoy,
it would.
right? Yeah, so if they lose, that's a third line left wing. That probably makes room for Savoy in some area there. He would have to move to wing though, because he's mostly a center. From what
I feel like he's gonna be a winger. Like,
he would probably move to wing.
mm,
We'll see. We'll see what happens there. And then of course Podkolzin can make the team as well. But I do like the ads they made with Skinner and Arvidsson. I think Skinner could put up like 40 goals this year, to be honest with you.
yeah.
So and he's never seen playoffs. So would like to
What
also
happens when a unstoppable force meets an unmovable object?
object ain't gonna move. It'd actually be like comical if the Oilers missed the playoffs this year because of Skinner. Oh man, that would be something. Again,
That
their defense, I'm not a huge fan of Nurse, as I said, but I like that first pairing. I like everything outside of Darnell Nurse.
yeah.
And I'm a little higher on Skinner than some people are.
Skinner's a good goalie. He's not a great goalie, but he's a good goalie.
Yeah. I think that honestly, if he can play, you know, solid, I think they're definitely making it to the cup finals for sure.
Mm.
Pittsburgh. I guess it's me, right? Because we did
Yeah.
it too. Pittsburgh. I'm gonna put him in the hunt, but I'm gonna put him here.
Ooh,
Uh, no, I'm gonna put him here.
I lean towards not no playoffs.
Really?
I'm not high on Pittsburgh. I like you could put them probably at the bottom of the hunt. Like I'm not. I think Vegas is better than them, but I don't
You,
know. I'm fine with them being in the hunt though.
you might be right. You might be right. They have a lot of new ads. Did you know that? They have a lot of bottom six guys they
They have a
brought.
lot of new ads. Yeah.
I don't know. I think listen, every team, I'm gonna say this, every team with Crosby will be in the hunt.
Okay, I'm gonna say this. Who do you think is better, St. Louis or Pittsburgh right now?
I would definitely say you're right. You're right.
Yeah, that's how I go off it. Like, would you rather the first team in the bottom row, or would you rather them
Yeah. Pittsburgh fans aren't gonna like that for sure, but
or not? But I feel like this is the beginning of the end for Pittsburgh.
yeah, 100%. Nashville, you're up.
I'm gonna put them in playoffs likely. I think you can put them above. I would say they're above Toronto though.
Yeah, I think I like the ads they brought in. I think they definitely I wouldn't call them a lock, but
No, they're not a lock.
I think they're definitely likely for playoffs for sure.
Yeah,
I mean, they brought in Marshall, they brought in Shea, they made a lot of great ads. Can't really complain, to be honest with you. Rangers. Rangers, I think I'm gonna put them in cup contenders.
yeah. I think they're the low tier cup contenders in there. So
Yeah, I don't know, but for me, I've never seen the Rangers as a team that could win a Stanley Cup. There's some people that do believe that, but I wasn't of the opinion.
I've never seen the Rangers as like like they're be great, but like I don't think they can win a cup with that core.
Exactly. That's my qualm about it.
Hmm.
Detroit, you got the hand on this one.
Ooh, put them in the James. No, no, put them at the top of in the hunt.
Top of in the hunt. All right.
Yeah,
I think they'll compete, but as someone brought up in my comment section today, they got really lucky in advanced analytics. So that is something you got to think about.
they all like. I don't mean to. I know I'm like, oh, I'm a Wings hater. I'm not. The defense is bad. I'm sorry. The defense is
Yeah,
really bad.
the defense isn't good whatsoever. I also think that like the goaltending isn't as I don't have as much faith in it as I do other teams above them, but I do think they will be in the hunt for sure. And they're a good story. Teams
Yeah, they're a good
on the
story.
line.
I feel like there's gonna be so many teams in the hunt in the East. It's gonna be crazy, but
Yeah, there's so many
they'll
teams.
they'll be there. They'll definitely be there.
Yes, absolutely. Buffalo, this is me. Sabres, they're in the hunt.
Okay, I would put them where the Kings are, like above, just above or below them.
I think they're right at the same level as LA.
For me in my list, they were in unlikely playoffs at the very top, but I'm fine with this.
I think like we forget that last year they weren't too far off. I don't think they will make
They
the
had a really good second half, though.
They did. They did. But a lot of teams have really good second halves. I don't yeah, I'll keep him in the hunt.
Yeah, we'll keep them in the hunt.
All right. James Higgins. I mean
It
Sam.
is. Oh, San Jose, it's James Hagan season, baby.
They're at the bottom of this.
Yeah,
Dead bottom. 100%. Yeah.
yeah. They improved, but there is. I don't people realize how there's so much work to do. Like it's not over in the slightest.
Yeah, I am of that opinion as well. Dallas. Dallas Stars. I think they are also cup contenders or at the top of playoff lock.
We'll put them in cup contenders. We'll put four
Okay.
teams up as cup contender. I think they're above the Rangers.
All right. Okay. I like Dallas's team. I don't like the ads they brought in, but I don't like the Dumba or Labushkin.
Oh, I hate them. That's why in my original list I had them in the top playoff block.
I like the Casey DeSmith. Like anything else though.
It's good It's good backup role. Forward core still nasty. You still got young talent who is going to thrive.
Still
Yeah,
an exciting team overall. Minnesota.
this is tough.
This is you. This is you. Yeah.
Not bad, but I don't no playoffs for Minnesota this year.
Should we put them at the top or?
I put them at the top. Put
Yeah,
them
I think
above.
Minnesota. Listen, they have a. This is the last year of the Parise and Sutter. They still have a young core. It wouldn't surprise me if they do get into the playoffs, though.
That's the thing, though. That's why I'm debating whether you put them in the hunt, but like at the very bottom.
The thing is that it's a matter of if they have a good first half. If they have a good start, then they're probably in it. But if again, like it can be said for a lot of teams, if you fall behind, it's a large, especially if you fall really far behind, like Minnesota did. It is a tough hill to climb to get back up. So we'll see if Minnesota can do that. But I like their young core. I like what they're building. I
Yeah.
think that in the coming seasons there will be a bright future ahead in Minnesota. All right, we're down to our last three teams here, and these are our favorite teams. We left these to the end. I have mine first, the Utah Hockey Club, formerly the Coyotes, if you're wondering. Utah in the hunt, and I think they're above. I think they're above. I'll put them right here. What do you think?
That's fair.
I could. I want to put them above Buffalo.
You can. Like I think Utah has a better chance in Buffalo.
Yeah. I'm gonna put them above Buffalo. They have a better chance than Seattle. No, I'm not going that far. But I do think that Utah has a very young and exciting core. Their forward core is really not that bad. Defense is way better than it's been in previous years.
Oh,
Like
it's
I
way
followed the Coyotes for years. Their defense has been terrible for so long. They got so much better on the back end with Sergachev, and their goalie tandem was great this past year.
Yeah, I'll give you that. Yeah, I think that's all true. I like Utah's chances in the Central. I'm not gonna lie to you.
It's just a matter of like I kind of view them, and I don't know if you like this, but I kind of view them in the same way as Ottawa. It's like they need to develop, and can they get over that hump?
They need
That's,
to start fast.
yeah, they need to have a good start, like Ottawa does, which is a good transition to our next team, the Ottawa Senators. LeBlanc's last pick. I'll let him take away.
Ottawa's in the hunt. Like there's if they're not in the hunt, something went wrong.
Are
I
they?
I would put them at the very top. That's me, my bias speaking though. I because I feel like LeBlanc, he just biased. Sue me. Listen, forward core drastically improved. Defense core. You may say, "Oh, you lost kicker." And yeah, we don't need three of the same player though.
Yeah, you don't. You don't need
And like, there's more stability in the D core and goaltending. Oh, it's miles better. Like miles better.
100%.
I think you could argue that Ottawa is probably one of the most improved teams this offseason.
Yeah, they're also one of the teams for me that like is contract the biggest questions. So we'll see what happens with the Ottawa Senators. I like where you put them. And
I
last but
think.
not
Yeah, I was gonna say. I think they're on the same level as Detroit, though. I don't want to say that they're like above. They're there.
yeah, absolutely. All
Yeah.
right,
All
and
right.
last but not least, the Philadelphia Flyers. Got to make this quick because this is about to end. I'm putting the Flyers in not bad, but playoffs unlikely. Actually, I'll put them behind St. Louis.
That's fair.
I think the ad of Mitchkov makes the team exciting, but they're not a playoff team. They're not a playoff team. I think honestly, there's a good chance that when we do this next month, Jesus, I'm planning ahead already. When we do this next month, and I might have different opinions then after training camp, but regardless, I think right now they are not bad, but playoffs are unlikely. So that concludes this tier list. LeBlanc, any changes you want to make?
Um,
I'm
I
fine
don't.
with this, to be
I
honest.
don't think so. I think it looks good. Yeah.
I think the order we have every team. I think listen, I think there's a few changes you can make. Like you could swap like Seattle with or Utah with Buffalo or like,
Or like St. Louis with Minnesota,
Montreal with yeah,
or
exactly.
Detroit with Ottawa, Carolina with New Jersey. Yeah, but
Make some minor choices, but I think generally this is pretty
yeah.
set.
So basically, we have eight teams in playoff lock, but basically playoff locks because there's two
Yeah.
categories there. Then we have two, four, five teams in playoffs likely. That leaves three spots for three Eastern teams, which is not enough. Just not enough.
Yeah, that's definitely not particularly great. But all right, let me list off the teams here for the audio listeners. Cup contenders, we have the Oilers, the Panthers, the Dallas Stars, and the New York Rangers. Playoff locks, we have the Colorado Avalanche, the Boston Bruins, the Winnipeg Jets, and the Vancouver Canucks. Playoffs likely, we have the Devils, the Hurricanes, the Predators, the Leafs, and the Lightning. In the hunt, we have the Senators, the Red Wings, the Capitals, the Islanders, the Kraken, the Utah Hockey Club, the Bruins, the Sabres, not the Bruins, the Kings, and the Knights. Then, and not bad, but playoffs are unlikely. You have the Wild, the Blues, the Flyers, the Penguins, the Canadians, and the Ducks. And then finally, in James Hagan season, you have the Flames, the Blue Jackets, the Blackhawks, and the Sharks. So, yeah, that concludes it. LeBlanc, would you like to draft our Pacific Division teams?
Let's do it.
All right. All right, LeBlanc, it is time to draft our Pacific Division team. Do you have some rules to go over? Well, you do.
Yeah,
Go
we
over the
do.
rules.
So you got to use every team, even the Sharks. You need to use the Sharks.
Yep. Yep.
You need to use every team at least once. You can't use the same team 5 times. So
Yes. We can't just do
can't draft the
the
Oilers top.
full Oilers first line.
Yeah, we can't draft the Oilers top 6. We can't do it.
Nope. We
So
cannot. So,
yeah, this is probably one of the harder ones because there's a lot of good players in this one, but like they're all on the same on like only 3 or 4 teams.
it's a terrible division, but there's so much top heavy in it.
I know.
To
Yeah.
be honest with you.
All
All right. I'll go first because it's my podcast.
I've already written it down. So
Yeah. All right. I will go first. Center Connor McDavid of the Oilers. I will make sure to keep track.
already written there.
Oh wow! Is that scribble on the left corner?
Yeah, I got this habit where like I scribble sometimes.
Of course. All right. So yeah, McDavid first. That's no question.
I'm gonna go with another Oiler. Let's just go Draisaitl.
Yeah. Let's get those guys out of the way.
I think he's right wing.
It says he's center on Daily Faceoff.
Well, okay, we'll put him at center then, since Daily Faceoff says so.
Ooh, we're gonna be so deep down the middle. Oh my lord. All right, let me do some. Who all is in this division? Okay. All right. I'm going to kind of going to shock you here a little bit. Maybe, maybe not. Give me Adrian Kempe on the first line right wing.
Damn!
Yeah, give me Adrian Kempe.
He's good,
We're
but
gonna
like,
be insanely like the center depth is gonna be unbelievable in this division.
okay.
Unless if I'm forgetting a team, but I think I looked at every team.
Yeah, let's get someone from this team.
Well, the left wing depth is gonna be Dookie.
Um, holy shit, he's their first line center. I'm just gonna let's put Elias Pettersson at our third line center.
Jesus, we're already filling up our center slots here.
Yeah, all of the good players play center in this division. Like,
Yeah, we're gonna leave someone really good off the list probably. I am also going to go with Vancouver. Give me Brock Besser, right wing.
is he the second right wing or?
I would put him second right wing.
All right.
I don't know. I think Kempe is a little better.
So we have no left wingers. Awesome. Yeah.
Well, look at the depth for the
I
left
know.
wingers. It's not particularly great.
Even like oh my god, we have to move some guys to wing. That's how good the center depth is in this division. And no, not putting him there. No, there no. Oh my god. Let's go Tyler Toffoli.
Yeah, that's who I was looking at. First line left wing.
Yeah, you know how sad that is.
Yeah, honestly. So at least we get San Jose off the
Yes,
board.
we don't. No more San Jose, unless you want to put Mac.
Yeah. We now have half the teams though, so that's on the bright side.
Right. It's probably our toughest one yet. Not gonna lie.
Yeah, this is difficult. All right, give me another Edmonton Oiler. I'm gonna go with Zach Hyman.
Is he left wing or right wing?
He is the right wing according to Daily Faceoff.
All right, so we have 3 centers, 3 right wings, one left.
Yeah.
Oh, this is gonna be tough. This is gonna be real tough. I am not going with him on the left wing, not right wing, right?
Yeah, no, I'm not going with him.
Well, that's left wing.
We really can't
Wait.
guys who haven't.
Sorry, Kempe, Besser, and Hyman, are they left wing or right winger?
Kempe's a right wing.
Okay, so
Besser's a right wing. Hyman's a right wing.
well, I'm gonna do another right wing. Let's just go Troy Terry.
Okay. All right. We'll nail the right wings out of there. So we got a right wing slot. I'm going to go with another LA King. Give me Quentin Byfield on the left wing.
There we go. There's the name.
Now we're cooking.
All right. I'll save him for the extra slot. Let's. Do you want to go Huberto? He's left wing.
Let me. Trevor Moore, Jared McCann.
Give me Jared McCann.
There's also Nugent Hopkins too. He's also.
Yeah, but I don't want to use up all our Oilers.
Who else are we gonna put on the? Yeah, you're right. You're right. All right, McCann on the third line left wing. So that gives us a guy from Seattle. We're only missing Calgary and another team. Calgary and who am I blanking on?
Vegas.
Yo, yeah, Vegas. Jesus, wait. Oh, okay. All right. I'm gonna go. Mark Stone or Troy Terry.
We already have Troy Terry.
Well, I'm asking you, Mark Stone. Mark Stone's a right wing.
Oh, you put. Fuck. Is Mark Stone ever healthy?
No.
Troy Terry.
Okay. I'm all right. I have a plan here. Give me JT Miller, fourth line center.
Ooh, okay.
But I have a plan.
All right. Who's the other guy? Who's the other left wingers in this? Because like, I'm blanking right now. I'm blanking hard.
I said Trevor Moore would be
Yeah.
next up.
How many King? We have what? 2
That's
Kings.
3 Kings. That's up to 3 Kings.
Yeah, I'll go Trevor Moore. I like Trevor
Okay.
Moore.
All right, and then my final pick for our fifth line center, Jack Eichel.
Yeah, no, it's fine.
All right, any changes you want to make? Is there anyone we're
We
missing?
we need a Calgary Flame.
I got a plan. I got a plan for that. Don't
I know.
worry.
I think I know what you have, but like, you could have. I mean, yeah.
Who?
The only other like extra I would say you could consider would be Vetrano.
That's true. But I think Eichel's better than Vetrano.
Yeah, so I'm good with it. We're good. We move forward.
All right, lefties and righties.
Let me go first on this. All right.
Okay. Yeah, you are first, anyways.
Uyghur, just do it. Uyghur.
Yeah, Uyghur is. It's probably not going to be first pairing, but Uyghur is a left defenseman.
I'll put him in second pairing right now. So.
All right. Well, let me just see what are my options. I'm gonna go. Give me Quinn Hughes above Uyghur.
Hughes is right, isn't he?
Oh, he's left.
Oh,
It says on here.
never mind. No, I'm a pair of someone on the right. Give me Evan Bouchard.
That's who I was gonna go with after that. All right, so we're at 4 Oilers, by the way. Our next guy's gonna be our last one. We're also at 4 Canucks.
Okay.
As well. All right, give me a second. I'm just writing all this down. All right, I'm up next. I believe we're not missing anyone big.
I don't think so. For defense, there's
So that's why I'm going to go with Shea Fedor.
Right or left?
He's a right.
Right. Well, I'm gonna go with Drew Doughty.
Ooh, yes. Doughty is, I think, a right?
He's right. Yeah, he's Dylan's favorite player. I know what side he plays on.
Yeah, of course you do. All right, we have one more slot. It's left D. Ooh, Hronek's still there.
Ooh, you know what?
Give me Ekholm.
Evan. You know what?
What's that? What? He's grabbing
What?
something.
Jake Wallman.
Ooh. What's Wallman, though?
Left.
Would you really, listen, I know, I like your presentation of that, but would you really put Wallman above Ekholm?
No. So, what if we have Wallman as the extra, though?
But you're between Wallman and Hronek and Rasmus Anderson.
Fuck.
Another guy.
Rasmus Anderson.
Ooh! Oh my god, Seattle, Vince Dunn, Brandon Montour. Do either of them make it here? I think one of them's at least better than Wallman.
Vince Dunn's got to make it.
So what, Dunn or Hronek is what we're down to.
No, actually, now I'm thinking about it, Montour's got to be there instead.
Okay. All right, Montour's a right defenseman.
Yeah. So Montour's the extra.
Kind of lost track. I think we're at our max for our Oilers. Ooh, you're right. We definitely should not have gone with Hronek because of our goalie situation.
Yeah, so. All right.
I think we're good to pick anyone here.
All right, goaltender. Let's see if we all get this at the same time. Ready?
3, 2, 1, Demko. All right. Yep. Okay, so starter is Demko. The goaltending in that division's honestly kind of weak.
It's ass. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Demko, and then it's kind of
we can't use Skinner.
Can't use Skinner. I'm gonna go Dackard.
Decord. Okay, let's see.
Let me see who else is on the list before I 100% go.
Before you just
Anaheim, Dostal, Gibson, not really.
I mean,
Do we have a team?
I think Gibson's better than Decord, though.
Okay. Hang on. Let me look at. Let me. Kemper on LA. Can't use Oilers. Blackwood, Aiden Hill.
Kemper. You probably got to go Aiden Hill.
Yeah, I'd probably go Hill and then Gibson. So no Dackert, unfortunately.
I mean, you could argue him, but Gibson didn't have a good year last year.
What do you think?
Let's go to Cord.
Mm.
It's gonna roll some feathers,
Okay.
but
I don't think it's that big of a deal. All right, that is our team. You want to make any changes?
no.
So
But I
not-
think we're gonna get roasted on the defense. We're gonna be like,
Yeah, the defense is a little.
it's
All right,
strong though. That's a strong
It
defense.
is strong. It is very strong. All right, we'll list off our team we built here. First line, Toffoli, McDavid, Kempe. Second line, Byfield, Draisaitl, Besser. Third line, McCann, Pedersen, Hyman. Fourth line, Moore, Eichel, Terry, and then
Miller.
Moore, Miller, Terry, and then Eichel is your extra guy. Left defense, you have Hughes, Bouchard, Uyghur, Theodore, Ekholm, Doughty, and then Brandon Montour is your extra. You have Demko, Hill, and Dackard as your goalies. I don't know. I'm thinking Ekholm between Uyghur here right now. That's my only change I'd make.
We can fix. We can switch it. It's fine with me.
Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter to me.
They're both very good. So
Yeah, we'll move Ekholm up to the second pairing. All right. That's all I got for this episode of the Northern Block Podcast.
Before we conclude the team series, which team do you think was the strongest we built?
It's got to be Atlantic.
Yeah, no, I guess there's no shot. Like what maybe do I'll put them into like a simulation and we'll see.
That's what I was thinking. Like, put them in the 24,
Yeah, we can do that.
like a playoff series.
Like a bracket challenge kind of like where it's like
Yeah.
yeah.
I like that idea. We kind of just honestly built all-star teams.
Yeah.
Basically what we did. But that's all I got for this episode of the Northern Block Podcast. LeBlanc, any final thoughts?
Yeah, we out.
We out. Next episode, I'm not sure what we're doing, but we definitely are going to start doing some stuff for 2024-25.
Training camp's coming very close. We're almost
It's a month away.
Literally almost at September. We're at the home stretch.
Our next episode, I think, is going to be our last episode of August, or second last. I think it's second, or I think it.
Yeah, I'm still here. Okay, yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, that'll conclude this episode of the Northern Block Podcast. Thank you all for watching or listening. If you're listening, be sure to give us a good review and tell your friends. If you're watching on my YouTube channel, subscribe down below and go follow the Nord Block Pod on Instagram. That's it for me. I am Nordic. That's Block. Anyways, thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one. Adios.